Hi, welcome back to Neuro Unlock. If you're a new viewer, Namaste. I want to talk about acceptance. Acceptance is a word that I know most of you know, but then I don't know if most of you practice the word acceptance. Because even me, sometimes I find it hard to practice acceptance. And it's a really hard thing to put into action, to put into use into your reality because, well, one of the reasons is expectations. Expectations making it hard for us to accept. You know what I'm saying? We find it hard to accept others for who they are. We find it hard to accept the world for what it is. We find it hard to accept ourselves, for who we are. We find it hard to accept our mistakes, our flaws. So many things that we just really find hard to accept. So I want to talk about acceptance because I feel like acceptance sets you free because it sets you free from worry, stress, depression, anger, and so many emotions that, really start to appear when you really find it hard to accept because of expectations and certain other elements that come into play. So I'm talking about acceptance because I feel like it's something that we should all practice. And I feel like it's hard to learn, but then as you learn it, the better your life becomes, the better your mind becomes, the better your heart becomes, the better your soul becomes, because you're setting yourself free from certain emotions that, really tear you apart. So why is it so hard to practice acceptance? So I said expectations, yeah? And the thing is, we expect, the world to be in some certain way. We expect ourselves to be in some sort of way. We expect others to treat us in some certain way. We expect others to be some certain way so that it fits, the way we like it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that actually really creates those negative emotions because, especially, let's say you expect someone to love you, for example, your partner, you expect them to love you in some sort of way. You expect your friend to treat you in some sort of way, But then if they don't treat you like that, you start to get angry, and you see it as if, like this situation is negative and, you don't want to accept the situation as it is. And that can really be hard as a person because it starts to trigger that, negative emotion that can end up actually hurting someone else and hurt yourself as well. So I think acceptance is a very powerful thing, especially if we want to find freedom in terms away from, freedom from those emotions. Because, let's say someone treats you bad, right? If you accept that you have no control over someone else's actions, then you reach a different set of, a different step, or should I say, a different step of mental freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because it really opens your mind, to a whole different perspective. Because you no longer look at it from an attached perspective. Because most of the times, when someone treats us in a really really bad way, we are attached to it. Like this person hates me or this person is bad. That type of thing. But then when you focus on acceptance and you look at it from the perspective that you have no control over what someone else does, you look at it from a different perspective, like a third person, and be like, oh, okay, that person is like that. They're probably going through some other emotions in themselves as well, so I don't have control over those emotions, so once you start to accept that, you start to not take it personally as a person. You get what I'm saying? Even situations, obstacles that come in your way, negative situations that happen in your life, you don't take it personal because you accept things for what they are, because everything has its purpose. Every situation has its purpose. The concept of everything happens for a reason. That type of perspective. Because once you start to understand that, it is what it is, then you really don't find any reason to be attached to something in that sort of way. You get what I'm saying? Like, even the past, we all make mistakes. And we start to wonder, why did I do that? You know what I'm saying? Why did I do that? And then you start to resent your past, forgetting that your past is also a part of you. You know what I'm saying? So when you resent your past, it's like you start to resent yourself because you start to hate yourself because you did something in the past that you don't want to accept, you know? But then you also have to accept that you're not perfect as a person. You have to accept that you have flaws as a person. And once we really start to accept that, then it brings a whole different perspective about yourself because you start to understand that even you have room to grow as a person. You know what I'm saying? You're not some high being that doesn't make any mistakes. You know what I'm saying? No matter how high you raise your vibration, no matter how enlightened you become, you will make a mistake, and that's part of life. So it's a matter of not creating friction with yourself, creating friction with the world, creating friction with other people, because you learn to accept them for who they are, how they react, how they behave. That's how they are. You have no control over that. The only thing you can really do is just, show them a different perspective of how, they could have probably handled it, or maybe just say, oh, I didn't like that, I'm not against you, I don't hate you for reacting that way, but then, I didn't appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? Without being attached to whatever they did to you, you know what I'm saying? So it's a type of situation where acceptance sets you free from making the situation worse. You know what I'm saying? So acceptance is a really, really powerful thing to learn. I'm actually learning this right now because, as I already spoke like earlier on in my videos, that I lost my mom. And I was finding it hard to accept, and that was triggering so many things within me. And I realized that because I was trying to be in denial, that type of thing, like, why is she gone, No, she's not gone, that type of things, those thoughts were running through my mind, you know what I'm saying? So I started to realize that, like, I was asking God why, and I realized that I was having a negative emotion towards why God would do that, you know what I'm saying? But then I started to realize that that's not making things better, I just need to learn to accept, and if there's a reason to why it happened, it will appear in my future. So acceptance has helped me heal in some sort of way, because if I didn't accept that, then I wouldn't be accepting the pain, you know what I'm saying? I have to accept the pain for me to heal from it, because once you're in denial about the pain as well, then you find it really hard to heal, because you start to think, oh, no, nah, you know what I'm saying? You start to avoid the pain, run away from it, and you probably hide from it, and that doesn't make things better. It doesn't. I am really glad that the word acceptance exists, because it's taught me that it's really important in the process of healing. Healing cannot happen without acceptance of what happened, acceptance of your situation. You know what I'm saying? Acceptance of, what you feel, the pain, you have to accept it. You have to feel it, let it go, accept it. That's a beautiful, beautiful way to heal, because you don't push it aside. If you try to push it aside, it just comes back worse. And then when it comes back worse, and then you don't accept it, it comes back worse. And then I think that's why a lot of people start having suicidal thoughts, because they don't want to accept that certain things happen in some sort of way, or they don't accept that the world is not as they expected it to be. They don't want to accept their pain, so many things they don't want to accept, a lot of things. Because even people find it really hard to accept something, for example, as rejection. Rejection is hard to accept, like, you're rejecting an opportunity, or you're rejecting of a relationship opportunity, for example, a certain person that, a partner that you wanted, and then they start to resent that person for rejecting them, that doesn't make your world better, It just means that you weren't meant to be, or that situation wasn't, that opportunity wasn't meant to be. And then when you start to resent it, it makes it worse for yourself, and you're carrying negative emotions for something that wasn't meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being happy that it wasn't meant to be, because it means that what's meant to be is coming. You know what I'm saying? So it just means you're closer, to what you really want in your life. You know what I'm saying? And most of the times, I personally say, stop wanting and start receiving, because, there's so many things that we want, but it doesn't mean that we can have everything. You know what I'm saying? And we have to accept that as well, because sometimes people feel like they can have everything and they don't want to accept when they get rejected. You know what I'm saying? So it's a type of thing like, I can get anything, I can get anything, I can get anyone, you know what I'm saying? But then you wouldn't want to get anything or anyone, because not everything is good for you and not everyone is good for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's really good to accept, like I just really learned acceptance in a whole different perspective, and it's so eye-opening for me right now, and I'm really, really grateful. It's a new part of emotional intelligence that I have added to myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized that I have regret and had regret, some certain things in my past because of not accepting. You know what I'm saying? I think regret only comes because it's failure to accept, And the thing is, when we fail to accept, that's when regret starts to really get to us, even guilt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm realizing now that acceptance is something that we all need to master. I know it takes a lot to master something, but I feel like if we really want to reach a place of inner peace and, inner harmony, inner relief, inner freedom, mental freedom, then I feel like acceptance is the key to that. It's one of the keys to that, let me say, because it's very, very important. So I want to say that if you really are going through certain things, like, right now, certain situations, obstacles, just learn to accept them as they are. You know what I'm saying? Or if someone is doing some wrong things to you, just accept them as they are, and focus on yourself as a person. You know what I'm saying? So that you can be able to, what can I say, improve your emotional intelligence, so that you shouldn't turn your inner world into a negative world. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to say that, if you feel like this video impacted you in some sort of way, you know what I'm saying, please leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video, because I feel like people need to really learn acceptance, and I am very grateful that you've watched this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But yeah, spread love, new unlock, rise into higher consciousness, together we rise. So to the next video that comes, please, don't forget to set an alert, click the bell as well when you subscribe, so that it appears as notification. Thank you. Namaste.